Now look at this. Probably one of the nicest looking games I've seen, to be honest with you. This is Sable, developed by Shedworks and published by Raw Fury. And guess what, friends? You're gonna enjoy it. So let's jump right into this thing then. What do you do and who do you be? Well, you be Sable, a member of the nomadic Ibex clan, who's just come of age for a gliding. It's a rite of passage that involves all kinds of cool shit, and it's going to form the springboard for our adventures here too, as we hover, glide, cruise, climb, jump, bumble, chat, loot and learn our way across 7 or so pretty distinct districts. I ain't gonna lie to you though, Chief. I'm only about 3 or 4 hours into this game as of making this video, but I felt I had all the information I needed to recommend it as a stone cold banger. And I wouldn't really want to spoil later game content anyway, so let's just start from the start. When we first meet Sable, she's here in this half ancient, half futuristic temple, paying some respects before heading out. This part of the game teaches you the basic press jump to jump shit, and also involves the climbing system from Breath of the Wild, and then before you know it, you're out in the big beautiful world of Midden. Just look at this here. Now, I know that I do simp for cel-shaded anything, that's true. From Jet Set Radio to Borderlands to Roller Drone to Kakarot to Wind Waker to that one Futurama game, you better believe if it looks like a dang old cartoon, I will be rock hard. This game is no exception, but I do think it's worth pointing out how exceptionally well it pulls off the style while still managing to have its own aesthetic, which is somewhere between the sandy planets of Star Wars and the desert temples of many a Zelda. Both of those the developers did cite as influences, so not a big surprise I guess. It also put me in mind of the futuristic wastes of Borderlands, which I've already mentioned, but whatever way you slice it, the whole thing looks fantastic. So Sable gets on over to the Ibex camp to see JD and tells her she's a big glider now and ready for adventure. You then get a few run around tasks to get a gliding stone, which after a quick puzzle to activate, lets you, glide. Given the open world exploring and the climbing, the obvious reference point for gliding would probably be Breath of the Wild again, but it put me more in mind of Raziel's moves from the Soul Reaver games, snazzy mask and all. Because masks are a pretty big deal in this here world too. More on that later. After Stone Get, you're gonna meet the head of the village, who's a work-shy lazy fuck. He hasn't fixed your bike up for you, so instead he gives you some heap of absolute shite to practice on, and then you do a few tutorial bits. That said, this part of the game is very immersive and enjoyable, and it actually does feel like true questing and world building rather than just press jump to jump. Take for instance Sizo, not sure how to pronounce it, the outclanner, the machinist who's here with your clan to help you on your gliding quest. She's going to build your bike since Chief Chucklefoot didn't have the gumption, but here's the rub, you need to collect the parts which are scattered all over the nearby areas of the desert. We'll run through the journey involved in getting just one such part now, so I can show you how the character and the story are neatly woven into these things. As you chug and bump your way over to where the piece should be, you see this crashed spaceship and you have a look inside. Then you listen to a recording about how they crashed down and whatnot. But no matter how hard you look, there is dick all to find inside, so you head out and you get greeted by Saima, the local troublemaker. She tells you that she stole the part you need, but she'll give it back for like 3 beetles, and you're all like, bitch, I ain't got any beetles, and then she's like, well, you better go get some or no part for you. Then you're off on yet another humorous detour, JRPG style, and you gotta find a hot source for beetles fast. So you check back in with the stalwarts at the camp, who honestly already do feel like friends even at this early stage. And they tell you where to find beetles, and also that you'll need to lure them with big seeds so you can sneak up on them. So here we go. Throw a seed, beetle gets a little love heart emoji and trundles over. You carefully and lovingly pick up the beetle, I assume. I tell myself that because they are cute and I don't wish to harm them. My Sable is a peaceful character. Now here's our first small gut punch, very simple but effective. The little girl Saima tells you that she only stole the part and sent you on errands because she wanted to stop you from growing out on your gliding. She loves you and she'll miss you. It's a tender, childlike logic, and I think something probably most people can relate to. The idea of a friend or a loved one having to go away because of some arbitrary grown-up reason, and then you're left behind with nothing but memories. Well, I didn't mean to get so maudlin, and neither does Sable, so I tell her I'll be back to visit and all that good stuff. More scavenging, bike built, sad goodbyes to your friends, and then we're on our way. But let me tell you, Chief, that ain't even half of it. You see, the game now becomes extremely non-linear. No main quest to speak of, really, save for deciding Sable's purpose, which in this world equates to choosing which mask she will wear for the rest of her life, and there are many cool options indeed. Whether you want to be a machinist, a merchant, a guard, a doctor, a shepherd, or anything else, what you will need to do is make friends with people who already have those roles. They give you badges, see? Usually in exchange for some sort of quest, and once you have 3 of the same badge, the mask caster will make the mask for you. And that just means you can wear it. It doesn't mean it's Sable's mask for life. So do be sure to try out fashion combos to your heart's content, as there are lots of cool clothes to find. I noted at the start that I haven't beaten the game, but I will also say that the game does not demand to be beaten, just enjoyed. It's not a get good challenge sort of a game, it's a cozy, comfy, exploratory game with a neat traversal and puzzles, but also just a lot of talking and vibing and general bumbling around. There's no combat, there's no real enemies to overcome, you just exist and try to make sense of the world you've been thrust into, and I do enjoy that mightily. It's a beautiful game, as mentioned earlier, but I don't just mean the graphics, that beauty extends to the pacing and the themes. This is a story all about transition and change and identity. Themes which I imagine resonate with many people in our modern world right now. And the themes here are handled carefully, respectfully, thoughtfully, which is nice. The world design has all the things I love about JRPGs and non-linear games, in that all the locations are very unique and rendered with a lot of love and care. Chock full of little details to find, cool characters to meet. It just complements the lovely graphics and the gentle themes really well, but it also means being slow and ponderous and meditative. You can spend hours cruising around on your hoverbike through stunning vistas and you would enjoy it. You'll also see cool stuff in the world that will pique your curiosity, wherever you go. Check it out. I was just cruising through the desert looking at big rocks when I noticed this little cave over here, so I go in and I notice this giant rocket, and then I climb up to take a look, and this cute axolotl slug thing gives me an egg. Very curious. Now, what do I do with egg? Well, I am 4 hours into the game and I have no answer to that question, but I have accumulated a few such eggs and the game tallies them, so I remain engrossed, and I am sure I will find their purpose. Just as Sable is sure she will find hers. This all makes the game sound pretty big, I guess. It is by my standards, but it doesn't have to be a time sink, because although you could easily put 20 hours or more into the game if you want to do every quest and find everything, last time I checked, the world record for this game was a measly 4.5 minutes, because all you technically have to do is find a mask and designate it as your forever mask, and then you're done. But of course, the idea here is that you want to learn all about the world and see all the masks before choosing the one that Sable will wear for life. So that's it, I guess. The game looks great, feels great, sounds great, as you have been hearing the soundtrack all this time, and it's extremely worthy of your time. Whether you want to sink 20 or so hours into this thing or just do a quick blast for an hour or two, Sable will be there for you. And so will I. Until next time, friends, arigato gozaimasu.